Welcome all to part 3 of the Fugly Cast Rants of the Fugly Couch. I am Cass once again. Oh my fucking god. And we're still going on about Spider-Man 3. Where was I? Oh, I had just done the whole Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy thing, haven't I? Gwen Stacy, who's a completely useless character in this whole fucking movie. Her dad is a completely useless character in this whole fucking movie. Quite honestly, so I've been explaining the movie up to this point. It pretty much has been told shit. The rest of the movie really doesn't need to be explained up until the point where Spider-Man gets the black suit. You know, he's having a moment with Mary Jane, and the black suit crash lands onto the Central Park, right where they're having a moment, right where it just attaches itself, where on his moped, because he drives a moped, and he doesn't even realize that until he finds out. Oh, and let's just get to this. So after a beating from Sandman, he learns that Sandman, I don't even understand this. Sandman apparently is the guy who killed his uncle. And this makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. This is such a blatant, we need to have the fucking main villain have something to do with Spider-Man ploy. It just drives me mad. It just wants me to freaking slap Sam Raimi. God damn. It wants me to slap Sam Raimi upside the head just for this. Because it makes no fucking sense. He dealt with this guy who killed his uncle in the first movie. We get it. We're sick of hearing about how his freaking uncle died. Alright? We get it. There's no reason to bring it up in the third flippin' movie. Absolutely none. I would have cut this part out of the movie because there was no reason for him and his aunt to be freaking pulled into the office to be told, hey, this guy is the guy who actually killed your flippin' uncle. Because he got the guy who killed Uncle Ben. We get it. Someone murdered Uncle Ben. Thank you, assholes. But no, we have to have that drug up again. I haven't seen the new movie, so God knows if they drag that up again. Maybe Electro was the guy who actually murdered his father, his uncle. Wouldn't that be a shock? So anyway, Sandman is actually the guy who killed his uncle, which makes no damn sense. Because he did it by accident! So he murdered his uncle. Peter is obviously pissed off about this because we need a reason for Peter to be mad at the Sandman, not just at the fact that Sandman kicked his ass. And Sandman does later in the movie, sorta. Sandman kicks Peter Parker's ass. God. And then from there, it just Peter's just, and then that's where the whole, it's actually after he finds out about this, that the whole Mary Jane freaking comes to him for support, and he doesn't give a shit, comes up. You know, in this movie, it really shows, and even in the comics, just how selfish of a son of a bitch Peter Parker is. Peter Parker is a fucking asshole. Because he is willing to give up Mary Jane because in a certain a comic book called One More Day, I'm sure many of you have already heard this, Peter Parker gives up Mary Jane for his fucking aunt, who basically tells him to just, she's lived a good life, let her die. She's fine with this. But no, because Peter Parker has some kind of weird thing with her and wants to put his dinghy up her vagina. He's got a weird thing about it. So of course he fucking tells him his aunt is more important than his wife and his future. Even though his aunt tells him to just let her die. She's already lived a good life. She's happy with it. Let her die. No! Peter wants to have some weird ass West Virginia sex with her. Can't do that. Anyway, that's the comics. In the movies, Peter Parker's a selfish asshole. So eventually, I'm trying to remember this. I'm not remembering it really well, even though I just saw the movie like an hour ago. He eventually gets the suit, kicks Sandman's ass by turning him into mud, which eventually Sandman obviously gets better. But he eventually turns Sandman into mud, and that's how he defeats him. Thus bringing in emo asshole Peter Parker. And suddenly Peter Parker is the creme de la creme. The creme de la creme. The greatest guy on the planet. Spider-Man is stopping people in the most vicious ways possible, and people love him for it. Like, he's basically proving J. Jonah Jameson right. He turns, it's at this point where Eddie Brock, I've totally forgotten about Eddie Brock. Sandman isn't even important in this film. Eddie Brock, I can't remember the guy he's played by. I don't give a shit because he's done so badly. Eddie Brock is freaking terrible in this movie. Terrible. Eddie Brock, up until he turns into Ben, is basically, like, the black suited Spider-Man makes Eddie Brock look like an asshole. And I get it, okay? It's right here where I would have taken Eddie Brock out of it, where he makes Spider-Man look like this big villain. And later on, Spider-Man proves that Eddie Brock photoshopped him. And I can totally understand where that happens. This is where I would have... And later on, Eddie Brock goes to a cathedral and asks God, if you know what my feelings are towards that, but fuck that. And asks God to kill Peter Parker. It is right here where I would have taken Brock out of the freaking movie Because eventually Spider-Man, it's here, where Spider-Man gets rid of the black suit, and the black suit binds itself to Eddie Brock. This is where I would have taken him out of the movie completely. Well, not completely. More till the end to introduce the next movie. But they don't do that, obviously. But even before this, Spider-Man beat... Let's get back to what I was saying. Spider-Man. Spider-Man beats up Sandman. He beats up Sandman in his fucking black suit. After which we get Emo Parker, who fucking starts basically doing what Parker should have done. He demands a job at the a straight and legit job at the Daily Bugle. Unlike what he's got, where it's just a freelance. Because he gets such awesome pictures, and John's like, yeah, we totally need these pictures. But suddenly he's like, yeah, I'll give you these pictures if you give me a freaking legit job at the Bugle. God. Fuck this movie. And then he's like, yeah, I'm badass. All the girl, he's walking down the road. They got a scene where he's the disco music. Where he's walking down, he's like, yeah. He's checking all the girls out. The girls are like, looking at him like, yeah, are you a fucking idiot? Which he is. And all this and that. Oh! And before I forget, this is the point where I gotta bring back, talk about the Green Goblin. The new Goblin, I'm sorry. Because in this movie introduces James Franco's character, Harry Osborn, as the Goblin. Because he finally gets the balls to face. He finally goes through the whole chemical. He does everything from the first movie, gets chemically enhanced, and becomes the new Goblin. Which is basically a face mask, no fucking full mask, just a face, and a fucking snowboard. Which after watching this movie, I can see, okay, I can see the legit reason why he wouldn't want a snowboard. In case he wants to get through areas like this. So he calls Spider-Man out at the beginning of the movie. He attacks Spider-Man right after he talks to his aunt and gets the ring. They have one of the more better fights in the whole movie. And then he loses his memory for... Sir, you know what? I'll get back to this. I'll get back to this later. Because I want to continue talking about Spider-Man.